Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Shamanic Journey number 106 to understanding the narcissist and the energies that exist in that energy field itself, interactions with narcissistic energy. Many of us have been in situations in our lives where we've either had a parent, a guardian, or a loved one who has been in our life. And in that specific relationship, we sometimes feel the pull as maybe an empath, as a sensitive individual, to be dragged into some type of energy of a person who we would consider a loved one, a person who would be a person who would have some type of control of us as a child. And from my own experience, I know dealing with the narcissist energy in my house, it really centered around my mother having this control over situations and trying to somewhat create, I guess, tension, somewhat of a drama triangle between whoever it might have been, herself, me, and someone else. And in order to, put herself in this position of never being vulnerable or never revealing her own specific traumas or pains as a child, which many people don't, she just tried to bury her feelings and have these different types of maybe effects, and many of us, as we experience people who are narcissists in our lives, you can look at some of the traits of that person, the need for admiration, an oversense of admiration from either their partner or from somebody, even one of their own siblings or one of their own children, playing one child against the other in order to have this triangle existing where one person is subservient to their needs, and then one person is considered almost a black sheep. And sometimes the children who are the ones who are the golden child in these relationships don't even relate or understand how the other person, the black sheep, could even complain about their parent. There's generally, as I said, a lack of empathy, and that exploitation of manipulating others for gain or forming relationships with people who serve their ego, who support their drive to keep their behavior going without any revelations or exposure to their dark side. Or anybody that attempts to do that then becomes a problem for them. In many cases, sometimes people have this sense of fulfillment, expecting special favorable treatment or believing that they deserve, privileges without earning them. Having the need that they stand above other people. That an arrogance and a conceit, like acting superior, bragging, and looking down on others who they consider to be inferior, or others that they just consider inferior. They can belittle, demean others, or intimidate them to have a sense of superiority, to restate their ego, to further suppress any trauma or exposure to things that they don't want brought to the surface, which would completely throw their world off, because they live in a world of having people build walls around them so that they don't become exposed, so that their darkness is never revealed. People pleasing, external, outside world, people don't really have this this view of these people on the outside. It's only in the inner world that they can gather this feeling and understand the people who are involved in the inner world itself. On the outer world, everything is shown as perfect. The external world, their materialism, their looks, their behavior, and the people pleasing. So people don't really get an idea of what's going on. And the manipulative tactics, basically, of gaslighting others who expose them, guilt tripping and isolating tactics. You see this in divorce, where a parent pulls one child away from maybe the other parent. And while it's not just the dynamic of divorce itself, it's the way the situation is handled, of creating who is the better parent and not allowing the other children to really get close to the other parent itself, because it becomes a situation where they need to win and be in a position where they are, again, anything that they've done negative is outshadowed by lying, by creating an image of somebody else as being the one that created situations. And basically what happens is the narcissist becomes, I guess, in turn, the victim of any circumstance. And because they can't expose or allow themselves to feel, again, their own initial trauma or pain from childhood, they completely block themselves off for having any empathy towards others who exhibit that. And so the empath, the person who is sensitive, who feels, is the bright light that shines on the darkness of the narcissist. And for that, they want to dim their light. And as a child, the empath will feel that loss of power, that control. And if the person doesn't have the willpower to overcome that, they become almost victimized by this and continue on this pattern. I know many people who are under the spell of a narcissist wind up getting into relationships where they, as an empath, meet a narcissist, a person who tries to control situations, who doesn't reveal their emotions. So it's very interesting for us to experience this energy, the energy of the narcissist. But there are ways for us to overcome that. There are ways for us to take our power back and look at it as a lesson somehow of our own soul's journey to learn how to love ourselves, how to create specific boundaries, how to cut ties and not get drawn into any gaslighting or any of the tactics that are used to bring on guilt or a sense of shame. And by getting closer to the source, we think that we can override it, or we can ease our way into better understanding it or living with it. The basic thing is we need to cut that out of our lives and separate ourselves from it. And it's sometimes not easy, but as we get older and we're in situations where we have more insight, then it certainly does. All right, so let's do Shamanic Journey number 106 to the narcissist energy and reflect upon certain aspects if you've ever encountered a person like that in your life, or you know someone right now in your life who you're living with or encountering with or working with. It's an important aspect for us to keep in mind. So let's find a comfortable place where you can either lie down or you can sit up in a chair with your eyes closed, covered preferably, and just get into a state of relaxation, a state of acceptance. Okay, take a deep breath in with your eyes closed and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take one more deep breath in and exhale. And let's go on our journey. You're walking into a forest. Into a bright, beautiful forest with the sun shining on our face. Above, and the sounds of birds whistling. And as we continue on our path, we take a deep breath in. Up ahead, we see an opening in the cave. We'll follow the path inward, using our hands to navigate. Continue on the path, we see the light from the other side. And we exit the cave. We follow the new path as we veer to the right. As we walk on the path to the left, we hear a noise. And we look in the direction and we see a spirit animal. What animal do you see? animal, about the narcissist energy. And who it is in your life. And how you can deal with them. Listen for the answers. in and exhale. And thank your spirit animal for passing on any information. As you head back for the open cave, entering the darkness, using your hands to navigate, following the light from the other side as you exit the cave, back on the original path, the sun shining at your back. Take a deep breath in and exhale. To the right, a large oak tree. You stop in front of the tree and place your arms around it. As the tree absorbs any negative energy and positive ions. You take a deep breath in and look up to the tree. Thank it. As you release your hands and follow yourself back on the track and out of the forest. Okay, take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Move your fingers, move your toes, shrug your shoulders, and when you're ready, come back into the room. Okay. This was Shamanic Journey number 106 to the Narcissist. The energy, the interaction, breaking free from that, understanding what it is, recognizing it, seeing it for what it is. Earlier on, I spoke a little bit about the narcissist itself and the certain traits that, that person could exhibit, a need for admiration, generally having like a lack of empathy in situations or towards people, an exploitation, sense of entitlement, an arrogance and conceit, an envy of others, and demeaning others. In my opinion, I guess I would look in terms of the gaslighting that takes place, the situations where certain statements are made in order to drag a person further into either a dialogue or an altercation, where a person starts having the need to then defend themselves and try to correct the wrong that's spoken about them. And this gaslighting is just like dragging a person into, like with a tug of war, pulling them towards them. And sometimes the best medicine is for us to release the rope and let that person fall back with the rope itself. When we try to engage and try to win this battle, it becomes a losing one in the end. The important thing for us to do is to recognize the lesson that the narcissist energy teaches us. Namely, it gives us the opportunity to learn to love ourselves. It learns to be able to shine our light and not to dim our light in the company of others who are trying to put it out. Because don't forget, when we shine our light on a narcissist energy, what happens is we're exposing their own darkness. And the last thing the narcissist wants to have is things exposed. They don't want their traumas, their wounds to be revealed. They want to put up a front that everything is okay so that they don't have to feel this. And so what happens is in relationships or when children are involved, when they try to create somewhat of a drama triangle and try to hook themselves in or ally themselves in with one child, and that child then is a feed for them, is their protector, their army. And what it does is it disparages their own person's sense of personal growth and their ability to find autonomy. And so The main goal of the narcissist is to build as many people around them to keep them buffered and to not be exposed. And we don't have to really expose them. What we have to do is we have to move ourselves away from them and allow them, or the people involved or engaged in that, to figure out and find their own way towards their own autonomy and freedom. Okay, so this was Shamanic Journey number 106. I hope you have a wonderful week. If you didn't catch this live, catch it on the replay. And if you are interested, as I mentioned earlier in my other lives, if you're interested in Akashic record reading or a energy clearing, you could always contact me on my website at adamgaleuniversalhealing.com. And hope you have a wonderful week and a wonderful school year ahead for the people who are going back to school. Okay, have a great day, great evening.